Ladies and gentlemen, thieves and crooks, hoodlums of all ages, I am the comic outlaw, coming to you live and loud from parts unknown with my co-host Magnus, and we're going to be talking about something in the world of geekdom that's been going on for a long time: magic.
Since 1993, I believe.
Yep. Now, these little boxes hold cards that you can play. It's sort of a mix between chess, strategy, basically.
Yeah, it's hard to describe because it is its own thing.
Yeah, it's like if you took D&D, poker, chess, and kind of mixed it all together. It's a very fun game to play. It's been going on for a lot of years. Wizards of the Coast, I do believe, are the ones that took it over.
Yeah. Who are owned by, I believe it's Bandai? No, not Bandai. Actually, it might be Bandai.
You never know. Let's see. It says Wizards of the Coast.
That might be older, but yeah, I want to say they're owned by Bandai.
The good people behind Power Rangers.
Yes.
Yeah. But it's a fun game to play, and we're going to be talking about creature types because in the game you summon different creatures to kind of help you and aid you, and there's so many different types. Would you like to talk about some of your favorites?
One of my favorites, because I started early on with like Homelands, Fallen Empires, is I like Thalids. They're these fungus creatures, and how they originally work is that they slowly got counters each turn.
Yeah, and they produce mushrooms.
Yeah, they created these saprolings, which saprolings nowadays are more mainstays. Like it's not unusual for a set to have a sapling pop up here and there, and that
or a tree folk.
Yeah. But, like, the Thalids themselves, they rarely pop up. They're mostly on Dominaria. You'll find them maybe somewhere here, somewhere there, but yeah.
Well, of course, in this game, there's the classics of elves.
Elves, they're there.
We should explain. There are different colors that you use. You can either use straight color decks or mix and match. Let's see, there's white, red, blue, black, and green, yeah. So each of these have different powers, different creatures. Yeah. They do different things. Oh, yes, and we're forgetting artifacts.
Yes.
Colorless.
And so I guess each color, they have sort of these mainstay creatures. Like white has actually more classes, such as soldiers and knights, while they'll have like these bigger creatures, which are angels. And blue, for them, is a species called Vidalcan, which
are... And drakes, too.
And drakes. But then for their big bads, they'll have krakens and leviathans.
You're leaving out merfolk, though.
Merfolk. They're another one.
They actually look kind of like the elves of the waterways.
Yeah. And green will have zombies and skeletons.
Beasts.
And then they'll have demons as their big bads.
That's black. That's black, isn't it?
Yeah, black. Yeah. And then red is going to have...
Vampires, too. You forgot.
Vampires. That's
yes,
correct.
They have a very cool vampire card. That's one thing I will give black.
Yeah.
The zombies are awesome, too.
And then red will have, like, the goblins.
Oh, yeah. I love goblins.
And, like, their big bads are going to be dragons.
Ogres.
Ogres, yes. You're going to have ogres. And whenever they do print, like, dwarves and orcs, they tend to be red also.
Some. Dwarves are actually spread out through different... They really screw over the dwarf.
Yeah. Magic does not like dwarves.
Yes, Magic is racist towards dwarves.
On Dominaria, they died from effectively radiation poisoning. There's still some now, but their race is kind of screwed on Dominaria, which is the main plane. But then on Olgrotha, they actually got messed up by vampires, so they're not doing well there. And the only place they have also been shown is, actually I think they might be on Marcadia, but is Kaladesh, where they're actually doing okay.
Yeah, but it just sucks.
Shocking.
Like you can make soldier decks, you can make elf decks, you can make dragon decks, you can make, like, in the dwarves, they just do not ever put out a set that actually helps. And I've been playing since Urza. For all you hardcore fans up there, look up what Urza is. I've been playing since then.
Yeah.
You know, and the dwarves have always been one of those races that have always gotten the shaft.
Yeah.
I mean, they even have mercenary decks. They have rebel decks at one point. You know,
Mm-hmm.
where everything kind of played together, like the rebel and mercenary decks, where you put 3 and you could summon a bigger version of it, or
Yeah.
it had different abilities.
And then
But nobody loves the dwarf.
nope. And going back to the color pie, green will have elves as their little guys. Well, their big guys, I believe, would just tend to be beasts.
Yeah, different kinds, creatures, wolves, spiders,
Wolves, spiders.
anything that has to do with nature. And of course, spider actually touches in black too. There are characters that are shared
Sure.
between colors. Black elves too.
Oh, yeah, especially shown on Lorwyn.
Yeah. So there are certain colors that actually mix together.
Yeah.
And certain colors that are easier to be put together.
Yeah.
Magic has actually done that where like they set it up, making it easier for the person to kind of decide, or giving them an idea. If you like this, you might want this, with it.
Yeah. And a more uncommon race actually is the Kithkin, which are halfling or hobbits, which way you ever want it. It just so happens there's copyright issues with hobbits. And so they wanted Kithkin, but they're hobbits. That's what they are.
Yeah, and then they had one called Legend at one point, like the older cards.
Yeah.
They were just legends.
So actually, all those cards have been errated to have actual other creature types that they're legendary creatures.
Yeah.
But like there are cards that will specifically reference legends. But now
back in the day, it was just Legend.
Yeah.
And that was a whole other creature type, period.
Yeah. But yeah, then they alter that because that was not specific enough.
Of course.
And oddly enough, they would also have cards that are too specific where the creature's name and their creature type is the same, which would suggest they're the only one, which isn't true.
Yeah, that was kind of annoying.
Yeah.
But it's just the nature of the game.
Yeah, they have fixed a lot of that.
They have a wondrous variety. It's really worth playing the game.
Mm-hmm.
I always like goblins myself as far as
yeah.
red. I enjoy the elf decks. I did have a dwarf one at one point. It took me 4 years to get it together. But it didn't have any... I had to use brass heralds, which is an artifact. You summon it basically does what like the commander did, where you look at the top four.
I believe, you choose a creature type, you look at the top 4 cards of your library, you grab a creature of that type and put it into your hand.
And then they get a +1/+1.
Yeah, that gives creatures of that type +1/+1.
So I had to use that for the game. And brass heralds are actually, if you're missing parts, are really good to have.
Sure.
Actually, and they're an artifact too. So
yeah, they have a few artifact creatures like that. I believe Adaptive Automaton. You choose a creature type, and then creatures of that type gets +1/+1, and I believe it becomes that creature type.
Yeah.
And then there's another one. It's from Kaladesh. I can't remember, but you choose a creature type. Then when a creature you play that's of that type gets a +1/+1 counter on it. So even if the that one's gone, the creature will still have a +1/+1 counter.
Well, yeah, that's the thing about Magic. It has a lot of twists and turns. It's actually really worth playing if you do have a time. That's why we wanted to give a shout out to Magic. We want to do different stuff on this show. We want to give you guys a rough idea, maybe turn someone on to it. Besides the Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon craze, Magic actually came first. It's a little bit like chess and D&D and poker rolled into one.
Yeah.
Very fun. We all have our favorite creature types if you really get into it. Angels, demons, it has a whole lot.
Yeah.
Warriors, rebels, humans, cat people.
Berserkers don't get enough love.
Yeah, the barbarians.
Yeah, they don't. Actually, they're barbarians, but then there's also Berserker is another creature type.
Back in the day, though, it was one, and they separated it. Yeah. It's just weird how they do that.
Yeah, some cards have a very clear identity, like goblins. They're weak, they're fast, there's a lot of them. They deal a lot with sacrificing.
Explosion, destroying artifacts.
Yeah, but
the main thing they have.
With going with Berserkers, they don't have an identity. It'd be interesting if a lot of them have when they enter the battlefield, they get haste and +2/+0, so that they pop in fast and hit hard, but then they're weaker for the rest of the game. That
Well,
would be interesting.
wizards are really weak, but their abilities are actually what's worth it too.
Yeah,
They're like merfolk, sort of.
yeah. So wizards, they often deal with working with other spells
Hmm.
or altering the flow of the gameplay. Like one wizard like might enter the battlefield, and it makes another creature go away back into the opponent's hand.
Well, they even had a set. It was an older set where they had battle mages, where a certain color, like it was a green one, then you pay like the blue,
Hmm.
and it would return a creature to their hand or this and that.
Yeah,
So they actually mixed colors up too. Like I said, they actually paved the road for you to have multicolored decks.
yeah.
And since we are talking about races, we left out one big one.
Human.
Well, no, I mean we've been talking about humans all. The slivers.
Okay, yeah.
If we're gonna do a show about creatures, before we wrap it up, we have to talk about the slivers. They are the all multicolored. They're built for multicolored decks.
Yeah, the Slivers is a hive mind race. They originally, it's really hard to describe what they originally look like. I'll just say like hooked worm-like creatures
Yeah,
with like one hook arm. But as time gone along, that they're very adaptive, and that they alter a lot. If they need something, their bodies will change. Like if a sliver needs to get from point A to point B, it can learn to sprout wings and fly. But if one sliver knows how to do one thing, all of them do.
yes, they're very adaptable. It's very interesting.
Yeah.
Very cool.
But more modern iterations, they are more humanoid. They kind of look a little bit like the predators from Predator, except without the face. You know, they're kind of faceless. But you know, they have like these kind of dreadlock things, and you know. But yeah, they're evolving race, and that they tend to be controlled by some sort of sliver queen or overlord, which
Yeah.
they have some degree of intelligence, and they're not as malevolent as you would think. Like,
They remind me like the aliens
yeah, it's actually a very good
or the
comparison.
Brood from X-Men.
Yeah,
Yeah, something like that. But I figure we have to talk about those.
it's a great race. They don't come up enough. I think they're mostly just on Dominaria also.
Okay, another thing before we wrap this up is an old school thing. They were called Vanguards. They were a huge card that you had, and this Vanguard would give your and only your players a certain amount of points or whatever
Yeah,
special
so
ability they had.
what it is you would start the game and you're like, oh, this is my Vanguard, and it's kind of picking like you are this character or planeswalker
Yeah.
or monster, and it would alter your maximum hand size, your starting hand size,
Your life, your creatures,
your starting life, and then they would have normally a special ability.
yeah, they did a lot of different things. So I just thought we brought that up. You know, just a touch of old school.
Yeah.
Can you think of any other creatures you want to talk about?
I mean, there's really so many to talk about. Those the Eldrazi. There's the core, which are kind of instead of being forest elves, they're kind of like plain elves, sometimes mountain elves.
Planewalkers.
Planeswalkers, which aren't really creature type as much as a special being, but
Well,
yeah.
still, you know, angels are special beings, but they're still.
Yeah. Well, angels are manifestation of white magic on a plane. Yeah.
Yeah, well, the story of Magic is like the story of DC. It's been changed, rechanged, and retooled over the years, you know,
Yeah.
to suit the needs. But that totally understandable, you know, because the story evolves,
Yeah.
and they've had a fair amount of novels to go with the cards. So.
Yeah, and personally, I'm a casual player. Some of my favorite decks are tribal decks, which is a deck that is dealing with one or maybe two creature types, and they synergize with themselves.
Yeah, we can also do that with spells. Spells actually synergize too. That's what the blue specializes in, because you can do spell decks too. But yeah, as far as creatures, there's also spells that work with creatures, enchantments. It really that's what I love about Magic. It gives you a Pandora's box, and you can actually go around different flaws, different things with the right creatures and the right strategy.
Yeah.
It all depends on what you get in your hand.
Yeah. Well, is there any other creature types?
Not
you
that
wanted
I
to
can think of
mention?
right now.
I guess you mentioned earlier, we were talking before, Kavus. That's another creature type on Dominant.
That was a flash in the pan.
Yeah, and they pop up here and there, but they're a much more rare race, and it's another race that doesn't really have an identity.
Yeah, well, they tend to make a race up and then forget about it.
Yeah,
That's
or
what Magic does.
it doesn't quite work, and it's just
Yeah,
like,
well, like the same thing as like comic books. You know, the hero doesn't go well, they cancel it.
yeah. You know what race I don't like
Mm.
is Jackal, because they already have Hound. Is a Jackal not a Hound? Am I mistaken?
I don't know, dude. Like that's Magic has a lot of gray areas.
Yeah, and
There's just
actually,
so many cards over the years. It's it's hard to pull all that history together.
I just remembered one. This creature is all creatures changeling.
Oh yes.
Changeling is from Lorwyn, and its creature type is changeling, but they have an ability called Changeling, where they have all creature types simultaneously.
Yes, I remember that one.
And yeah,
They had
and
one called Clone too, which was interesting.
yeah, Clone is a shapeshifter creature that when it enters the battlefield, it becomes a copy of
very
another
useful
creature.
to have.
Yeah.
I can't. I don't know. I'm done on creature types. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, big can easily just be a 10-hour video just talking about creatures. But yeah, that's just a quick one.
Like we said, everyone, just a little video quickie. Check out Magic: The Gathering. Fun game. We'll probably be doing a few more shows here and there talking about the ins and outs. We're just letting this flow and see how it goes.
Mm-hmm.
And as always, I'm the Comic Outlaw. Me and Magnus letting you know. So we'll catch you on the flip side.
Later.
Laters, everyone, and keep the magic thing on. Yeah.